What is a hero? My definition of a hero has been greatly influenced by the media's depiction of a hero. I'm a big fan of the MCU, so when I think of a hero, I usually think of a literal superhero. They always have some specific strength that greatly contributes to their ability as a hero, but also the fact that they're people we can relate to. Most heroes I think of have weaknesses and vulnerabilities that the audience can connect with. What makes them a hero is their choice to protect other people. They do things that benefit others. They're someone who overcomes adversities and obstacles in order to achieve those things. They try their hardest, and they don't give up. They persevere. And most importantly, I think a hero is someone with the ability to inspire others in some way. I don't think anyone has a hero that they can't look up to, because that's one of the main aspects of what a hero is, someone who inspires others. Sherlock. Sherlock is the protagonist of a modern-day adaptation of the books by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. He lives in London as a consulting detective. He's brilliant, which is both a blessing and a burden. His deductive strategy reveals his powerful and unique mind. Along with his genius, he also has an immense knowledge of various sciences. The series does a really good job of showcasing this.
Didn't know I saw.
With such a mind, he is easily bored, and relies on solving new crimes to keep his brain satisfied. Without some sort of intellectual challenge, he becomes easily
bored!
When this happens, he often turns to more erratic behavior, such as shooting at walls, strange experiments, and various narcotics to ease his restless mind. Sherlock's intellect is what defines him as a hero. Even outside the fictional world he lives in, this is recognized. His work with chemistry in the original Sherlock stories even won an extraordinary honorary fellowship award for the Royal Society of Chemistry. A fictional character being awarded with a real, physical representation of their achievements, that is proof of how influential he's been. Their article covering this achievement reads, "We contend that the Sherlock Holmes myth is now so deeply rooted in the national and international psyche through books, films, radio, and television that he has almost transcended fictional boundaries." Batman. He has a strong moral compass that he firmly adheres to. He fights for justice and refuses to kill. His Batman persona is a prevalent symbol in his world and our own. We see it on lots of merchandise and clothing. The bat signal is a symbol of justice and a reminder that Batman is there and ready to protect people against anyone who dares to face him. His Batman alias was created to fight for what's right and preserve the legacy of his parents who aim to make Gotham a better place. He wants to strike fear into the hearts of criminals and rehabilitate them if possible.
I know what it's like to try and rebuild a life. I had a bad day too, once.
Batman will never kill, even if the person might deserve it, but he isn't afraid of making people believe he will to get answers. Today, Batman is recognized worldwide as a hero. A lot of people look up to him because of what he stands for. He's human. He has no superpowers, he's just a man who's trying to make a difference. Even though he gets hurt, he gets back up again to keep trying. He never gives up, but he still has weaknesses because, like us, he is human. Because of this, people can connect to him, and that's what makes him an even more captivating hero. Similarities. Both fight crime. Batman is known as the world's greatest detective, and Sherlock is known as the world's only consulting detective. They're both infamous characters fictionally and in the real world. They both have distinct pieces of attire that serve as a symbol or as a defining feature. Sherlock is known for his famous deerstalker hat because it became iconic to his public image.
Sherlock Holmes, I wear the damn hat.
And of course, this symbol is easily recognizable. Both have sidekick-type friends and someone that trusts them and utilizes their skill in the police department. Watson and Robin both play the same role, and we have Police Commissioner Gordon for Batman and Inspector Lestrade for Sherlock. Both give them access to police information or crime scenes and go to them when they need help with a case. They also both have people who audibly don't like them.
Hello, freak.
I think you're a freak and a menace, and those are your good points.
Both are willing to do whatever it takes. Batman voices this in a fight with the Joker in Mask of the Phantasm, and Sherlock was going to take a pill with a 50-50 chance of killing him just to prove he was right. They both risk their lives quite often in an attempt to win against whatever foe they're up against. True, they might be a little obsessed, but in the end it gets the job done and people's lives are saved. Neither have much respect for the rules, nor are they unwilling to work around the law to achieve their goals. Batman works outside the law to begin with, as a vigilante. He consistently spies on his targets, breaks into places to catch criminals, and proceeds to beat them up. But he does hand them over to the authorities after, so yay, everybody wins. Sherlock does much of the same and will go off on his own or keep evidence to himself rather than working along with the authorities. Both can come off as uncaring. Sherlock often says he's a high-functioning sociopath, which is a debatable statement, but he does lack social awareness when what he says makes people uncomfortable or hurt. He doesn't seem to understand or care for emotions at times, and will also manipulate others or play on others' emotions to get them to do things that will help with his investigation. His interactions with Molly, who obviously loved him, are evidence of how inconsiderate he can be.
You always say such horrible things. Every time. Always.
Batman comes off as uncaring, especially to Robin, which was part of the reason why he left his place by Batman's side to become his own hero, Nightwing. Batman won't always take others' feelings into consideration when he's focused on a mission. Their jobs interfere with their personal lives. They're rather obsessed, and it impacts their relationships with other people. For example, Sherlock had to fake his death in order to save his friends from Moriarty, and he only revealed he was alive 2 years later. John was obviously not happy. He was lied to and left mourning for so long. Batman has had a few relationships with different women in the past, but he couldn't sustain those relationships. If not for being on opposing sides, they probably could have worked out. Both have weaknesses and vulnerabilities. For Batman, of course, we know it's his parents' death. That event has influenced many aspects of his character and what he does. He would not have become Batman if his parents weren't killed. He wants to make his parents proud, and this trauma that he carries holds a huge weight on his shoulders. Sherlock also has familial-based trauma, but I'd say his more consistent vulnerability throughout the show is the fact that he's not as heartless as people may think he is, or as he lets on. Differences. One has a secret identity. Batman is the alias of Bruce Wayne, a cover he uses to protect himself and the people he cares about. He has to balance his personal life, managing Wayne Enterprises, with being Batman. Sherlock, on the other hand, does not have any secret identity, even though he gets himself into situations where one would definitely be useful, and spare his friends some near-death experiences. Batman does things his way and won't allow justice to be carried out any differently. He will not kill, and that is final. In one episode of the new Batman Adventures, the Scarecrow creates a new fear toxin, which rather than playing on and intensifying fears, takes them away altogether. Batman accidentally breathes some in, and although he claims it won't, it greatly affects him. Him and Robin go to find Scarecrow, and while interrogating a few men, Batman ties one up and throws him out the window, demanding answers. He tells Batman all he can, and after getting what he wanted, Batman quite literally leaves him hanging on a loose rope. Robin has to step in to save the man from falling to his death. While heading back to the jet, Robin immobilizes Batman, saying,
"Gas has affected you more than you think.
I told you, I can handle it.
You can't! You're not even afraid to kill."
So we know that murder isn't just something Batman refuses to do, but it's also something he's afraid of doing. He won't cross that line. Sherlock, on the other hand, is not afraid to kill, and he will do so if he thinks it's necessary. Unlike Batman, Sherlock doesn't see himself as a hero. Batman, however, seems to know and acknowledge his role. Different strengths. Batman uses his tech and gadgets to fight crime, as he has no real superpowers, besides being rich. In almost every episode, he uses at least a grappling hook to swing up and around the tall buildings. Other times, he'll use gas bombs or his famous batarangs. Sherlock does not rely on weapons. Of course, he'll carry a gun as something of a precautionary measure, or just because, but he predominantly relies on his brain power and deductive skills, which is what the character is known for. He's able to take one look at someone and know almost everything about them. He also uses something he calls a mind palace to store information, which comes in useful quite often. Different motives. Sherlock sees it as more of a game. When he has a new case that interests him, he'll often yell in excitement.
Yes! 4 serial suicides and now a note. It's Christmas.
And as I said before, he does it because mysteries of crime are some of the only things that challenge his intellect. He needs something to occupy his mind with, and so he plays cat and mouse with people like Moriarty. Batman has a much different motive. He solves mysteries to preserve justice and his parents' legacy. He wants to do good for the city and the people in it. Though they both solve crimes, Batman's motive for it comes off as a lot more heroic.